Okay, Bitcoin is still holding within a range. So we have a dealing range over here. That's not exactly what I'm referring to. That's like from this all-time high down to this swing low. Okay. And we've been within that range. We have also been largely, here, let's just add this here from here down till here. 50% of the range equilibrium. We've been chopping up and down around it. We did for a little while go into the lower quadrant, and we've moved back up towards the middle. You can refer to the bottom as extreme discount, discount, premium, extreme premium. So we've been chopping around between premium and discount and a little bit into extreme discount. Now, question is, what's most likely when we're chopping around the range? I don't, I can see arguments that we go higher and lower. My bias is strongly that we're going lower. What I don't know for sure is if we might wick up a little bit or higher before going lower. The reason I'm biased towards going lower is because we have this breakaway gap over here, and we have this breakaway gap over here, which I think is very likely that we wick into it before going higher. The thing is that it's possible that before we wick into this, we actually wick up to take out liquidity above, because we do tend to have a false move away from the direction of the bigger move, depending on what we're looking at. I mean, if we're heading down here, even if it's temporary, then that's the real move. And a false move or a manipulation to grab liquidity before going lower would be likely. Now, we talked about relatively equal highs and relatively equal lows. We have relatively equal highs over here. We're now on the 4 hour, right? We have a high that goes up to there, and then two lower highs that came close to it but did not take it out. That's engineering liquidity. Notice it overlaps with the SIBI here, which means there are two reasons for price to go back up there. Yesterday, we also put in this little swing high over here with this candle, um, a little bit higher than the ones on either side. But in relation to these two candles here, I'm not counting the little one because it's a little bit lower. These are relatively equal highs. It's not as close, but it's still a relatively equal high, giving price a reason to go up. At the same time, we have relatively equal lows over here. So we had price engineering liquidity here coming down. Then we took that, right? We took it over here, took it a little more over here, and came over here. But we didn't go all the way down because we're chopping around, engineering liquidity on both sides. That's what's happening when we're going sideways. So yesterday we took out liquidity from Monday, the day before, by going up over here, but we stopped short. And today it definitely looks to me like we're going lower, and it very well could be that we're not going to go above this before going lower, because that's fine. As you may remember from weeks and months ago, we had a very similar top, right, before going lower and then breaking higher. Actually, let's pull back and I'll show that to you. See how similar it is, right? Over here, this is a weekly candles just for simplicity. We had a high and a lower high and a lower high and a lower high and a lower high. Oh, actually, that's after what the action I want to point to, right? But this lower high, we wick down into the BISI here before going higher and pushing even further. This was the big move going down, or what? We went back down to the 70s, right? Remember, we made new all-time highs end of last year, right? So we had over here, we made the all-time high, and then we had a lower high and a lower high and a lower high, right? Um, and then we came down into this BISI here, wicked back up, came back down, we made an even lower low, went back into the imbalance that was made over here in a sense, on the lower charts. I'm sure we'd see it more clearly, and then made the swept liquidity below these lows here. This is a low that was not as low as the previous low because it was engineering sell side liquidity. Swept that, opened, swept that, closed above the previous week's move down, and then that was our push higher. So it's very possible that we have the same idea over here, but it may not take as many weeks. So let's go down back to the 4 hour chart. Okay, so again, we have the same idea here where we have a low, we have a high and a low, and we have this lower high, a lower high. We took out the buy side liquidity above here, but we fell short of this one. It could very well be that we're now going down to these relative equal lows into the buy side liquidity to rebalance these BISIs that are here from the big push upwards a couple weeks ago, and before going back higher. Because my permanent bias in Bitcoin is that overall we're going higher. Let me know if this was helpful.